Let's start with something really funny. I know, like the Harley's in for service.
Yeah, that's really funny.
It's not funny.
It's so funny. Well, you didn't want to start with the bad news, so you start out with worse news.
I'm not sure this is not bad news, but you know what? So here's the good news. Let's look at the bright side, because that's really the challenge. Looking at the bright side, I have not added much to the Harley since I've owned it. When I first bought it, it was stupid money. They're all stupid money. But I spent like $3,000 getting it so it fits me. Plus, I had to have louder pipes put on because the factory pipes are sucky, which they do on purpose. So you pay money to buy it.
But that's, of course, that's what we need is louder Harleys.
There's a thing. Loud pipes save lives. And that's a patch that I have on one of my 16 vests because none of them fit me. So anyway.
Well, loud pipes might save lives, but they ruin hearing.
You say something? I didn't hear a word you just said.
Exactly. It's hard when you can't hear anything. It's hard to hear a bear creeping up behind you in the woods.
It's such a weird thing with Harleys in particular, with motorcycles, especially down here in Florida. There are so many accidents down here, and some admittedly are because of the riders. I don't know if they're, they come from up north someplace and they, like me, and they, think, well, it's same thing, and zip in and out of traffic. And some of them do that. And I've seen some horrendous Harley riders. On the other hand, today Lisa's driving the truck, one of the few times I'm in the passenger seat because we took the Harley in for service. And a lady came 2 lanes over and cut in front of her into a turn lane. And Lisa saw it coming the whole time, slow motion, so she knew, she prepared, because this happens all the time in Southwest Florida. And the lady didn't even, and I looked over and man, she's like 70, and this crap happens down here. So anyway, that's the story behind it. But the pipes, the benefit from it to me is, if somebody is next to me in a parallel lane and clearly does not know I'm there, I'm going to let them know by just neutral and just rev it up a little bit. That's it. I don't need it to be neighbor haters, which is the name of some add-on pipes. Neighbor haters. I love it. Yep. But they're crazy loud, and mine are not, but they're loud enough to get somebody's attention if they don't see me next to me.
Yeah.
When you get in an accident situation, though, there's a horn. I fail to see the reason for the horn, because it's either going to cause somebody to stop when there's a bike, and stop in the middle of a bad maneuver, or it's going to cause them just to keep going, or it's.
But isn't that the same with the loud? I think it's a loud noise, period, whether it's a horn or the pipes.
Nah, the pipes you can do in traffic while you're going. The horn is a whole different animal, because it's just like somebody honks at you in traffic. It's a different thing. You can do the beep beep like somebody's late for a light. Beep beep. And
who stole the keys to my Jeep? Vroom.
Yes, like
sorry,
that.
Anytime I hear someone say that, it just pops in my head.
Of course it does. Well, and of course your Jeep is, it might not be vrooming at all. So it makes it even worse.
It's funny that you say that, because I have a couple of neighbors with Harleys, and definitely neighbor haters. But I also, one of the folks, they actually live across the street. They not only have a Harley, but they also have a Charger with the enhanced exhaust.
Yes.
So it's the wife that drives it. And when I say wife, so the husband is skinnier than me, but looks a lot like me. And his wife, who I met when we first moved in, was not very.
Thinks you're hot.
No, was not very big. She works at the YMCA, and she's a trainer, and she has been training. So she is, I mean, she is. She's scary, not in a bad way, but just like you look at her, go, she could cause some shit.
Yeah.
And, so anyway, she's the one who drives the Charger. Okay. And every morning, 7 a.m., it's kind of a running joke in the house. Oh, guess someone's going to the Y. because you hear that thing.
But does she rev it up when?
Oh yeah,
I
when
mean,
she's hitting the gas to go up the road.
Yeah, she.
No, I don't think she purposes. It's just a loud car, and so you're talking about the Jeep. The 392 does it. It's got the Hemi in it, and it.
Well, it's a Hemi, yeah.
But the difference is the Jeep actually comes with a button that it's a normal exhaust. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. You hit it and then you get that sound. I don't think she has it on the car. If she does, she doesn't have it shut off because it's loud.
I think it's right behind the catalytic converter, and it's like a door that opens, and so it's before the mufflers, but behind the catback.
Okay.
I think, but anyway, they're a lot louder. So I know what you mean. It's open all the time.
It is. It's open all the time. Oh, guess someone's going to the Y. Good morning.
Well, and so I have a theory about some of the Dodges and certainly Ford Mustangs, and we're talking about ICE vehicles now, internal combustion vehicles. I guess clearly they're louder than they are fast.
Yes. Yes.
And so they sound awesome.
Yeah.
My F-150 with the V8 is probably faster than both of those, unless it's a Hemi with the Hellcat.
Sure.
Look, I'm just talking about standard small V8 or V6 whatever engine. The F-150 is quicker, and not that I do, but we have a road coming out from our house, the area we're on, and you got to turn left and there's no light. So it's a boulevard. So you've got traffic going both directions. You got to cross the one, and then you got to get in the right lane or the correct lane as you merge into traffic going the other way if you're heading northbound. Long story to say that I have to kick it down most of the time. And if it's raining like it was this last weekend, or I guess earlier in the week, I put it on 4-wheel drive because otherwise you'll sit and spin. Everywhere. These Florida roads get like oily when it rains or greasy like. And so, I'll put it in all-wheel drive and it kicks ass. It just scoots on up the road. But if I don't do that, I'll sit and spin.
Yeah, so. It's really interesting. So a long time ago, I had a Nissan Murano, and it was a base Murano. It was the old body style. And
4-cylinder or 6?
6-cylinder, and I was turning right onto a road, and there was a Mustang. It was not a new one; it was an older one, but it was a 5.0, 5.0 or 4.0,
5.0.
It was 5.0.
That's their
so
V8.
5.0. Yep. So we were inside. We were right next to each other, and he tries to gun it to get by me, and I floor it, and I beat him. I mean, it's just
in the Murano.
In the Murano. Yeah, I'm like. Don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Sorry. Yeah, it's funny when you see something that, but I mean, they sound awesome. So if you're you're a Challenger, Charger owner or whatever, don't take it the wrong way. They sound awesome, and some are really fast. And I would say that to the state trooper who was in a Challenger earlier today that I saw.
And really, sometimes I find it really those loud exhausts. We went to pick up Peyton in East Tennessee, so we spent the weekend in East Tennessee, and then we were coming home, and I was driving, and I'm driving along, and this guy pulls up in this old Dodge, and he's got some modified exhaust on it, and it every time he would gun it, you could see him in there, and I don't want to judge people, but you just looked at him and go, okay, that makes sense. Let's just put it that way. And he's smiling, he's all happy, and I'm like, when you gun it and your exhaust sounds like you're farting the whole way, that's not really. I don't think that's really what you're trying to get out of this, because it was so annoying. Like,
I'm not sure I understand. That's what I was looking for. Like a little demonstration of how it sounds.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was, from a standstill, I bet it sounded great. But once you got up to a certain speed and he would gun it because he wanted to hear it, it sounded like someone was passing gas the whole time.
So this is again, apparently this is how I'm going to be getting older. I don't understand. I understand loud pipes on Harleys. I understand loud glass pack mufflers on big
Little sports
V8s and
cars.
even V6s. Yeah,
Yeah.
muscle cars for sure. I
Mm-hmm.
I still don't get the Honda Civic with the
Yeah. Oh no. Yep.
incredibly loud pipes, and maybe they're fast, and I okay, it's just not something I was raised with, and so
Right.
they may be really fast, but they're wow.
I don't.
That's
I think it has
annoying.
less to do with. I think it has less to do with being fast and more to do with sounding fast.
Sound,
because
yeah.
just exactly what you're saying. I don't think they've modified anything but the exhaust.
Yeah,
they haven't. And if they did, great. Fantastic. If you're racing them and that's what you want to sound like, okay. But if you're just making it sound like, I have been next to people in my Wrangler with a glass pack on the back of their little, rice burner shit box. And they're like, I'm like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, yeah.
See,
I wonder about that and the other thing. So let's.
Oh no!
Here's your
John's
title,
frozen.
Crotchety old man.
He's still talking. I can see him talking.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not frozen.
Oh,
You are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
You are.
The one. I also hear the bass in when people are they pull up and it's okay, fine. Look, but I don't. Is that pleasant to listen to? I mean, it is ear deafening in the next car over.
Yeah.
And so I often wonder about that. And then there was a dude who had one, and he apparently sold them because he had some sticker on the back of his vehicle. And it was, rattled the windows of my car.
Yeah.
It was that incredibly. And so you got to have some massive subs and everything else in there running.
I need to take a screenshot of that. That's a great face.
Like just like, okay, you're trying to get attention. Damn. Is it any different than having, the rooster hair looking thing that they used to have? And it's look at me, listen to me, I guess. Yeah. And that's okay. That's fine. I don't have anything against that.
Well, it really, so I have a subwoofer in my Wrangler and all the Rubicons. It's kind of one of the things that they have it. And that thing produces a ton of bass. And I mean, it's so much that sometimes on bassy music, I have to turn it down because it makes me feel almost ill but the biggest difference is,
chest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The biggest difference is with some of those cars that you hear that deep bass in, they've got it turned up so much, you hear the car rattling. If the car is built and it's built well and you've got a really good bass sound, I think that's really cool. But when you've got it and you're driving a shit box and it's going, it's like, if you turn that up any louder, your trunk's gonna fall off. I don't know. But it's interesting because you've got some people who are doing it again. They're just trying to, like you said, they're just trying to get attention.
Hey, if it's quality, if it's quality, I love big bass, and I do. But
me too.
When it's all you hear is the bass, and there's no mid, and there's no treble, and so it's clear that you're not after quality music. You're after getting somebody to go, "Whoa, dude, that's okay." If that's your thing, that's all right, I guess. But call it what it is.
Exactly. And then there are some stock vehicles out there now. Again, sorry folks for having to say it yet again. It sounds like I'm being obsessive, but I'm not. But the Wrangler sound system will put all these guys to shame. And you're stock.
Obsessive.
I am. That's what I get that all the time. But it's just it's a stock sound system, and if I'm sitting there with someone next to me doing that, I can turn mine up and beat them.
Okay, but do you?
No, absolutely not. I have once. I can't lie. I have once. Just because
it was pissing me off. It was a dude?
It was a dude who was pissing me off. A lot of people on the road
you're trying to impress somebody.
No, it's not impressive.
Come on down to Florida. Come on down here.
That's all right. I'm good. I'm not going to go where there are more people. I would like to go where there are fewer people. Oh,
I know.
Speaking of Florida, driving home, I'm in the left lane, and this. I wish car companies could do something about this because it really. I know you're not a big fan of the adaptive cruise control,
No.
But when you're driving in traffic, I love the adaptive cruise. When you're doing a long trip, you just set it and boom.
As long as you don't mind at some point looking down and find that you're 10 miles under what you set it at.
See,
okay.
That's the thing. If you're in really heavy traffic, like driving from East Tennessee to Middle Tennessee, it's always heavy traffic. You set it at whatever speed you want to max at. You're not setting it to set because that's how fast you're going to go. No, you're going to say this is the speed I don't want to go faster than, because you're never going to hit that speed. You're just going to be behind people. But what really ticks me off are those people, and I can count the number of Florida plates that did it to me, are the ones that think because I've got the adaptive cruise control and it's keeping me a certain distance away from the car in front of me, that means they can pull in front of me. Because they do that, and the adaptive cruise control slams on the brakes.
Oh, man. Yeah,
I'm like,
think about that.
Jerk.
Okay, so at least, though, you're getting some insight into what it's like for big rig drivers almost every stinking
all the time
day. Because people cut, and I watch them, and look, it's not to say I haven't done it, but I know enough drivers to know that they need a hell of a lot more space to stop than that car that just cut in front of them. And it's the dumbest thing, but you see it every day, all the time.
Every day.
Just zip right in. Look at me. I got in front of traffic, and you're not very smart, because if he can't stop, you will be a hood ornament.
Yep, exactly. And that's, it was horrible on the drive home because people were doing it right and left. You're just like, come on, guys. Or the ones like you're in the left lane because everyone's passing and you're passing and everyone is going steadily, but they got someone who has to move in the right lane so they can get one car in front of you. Yep. It's like, why? Everyone, you see this long line of cars?
Do you really say, come on, guys, like you're a team?
Trust me, there are a few more expletives rolled into that. Come on, guys.
That is my problem. That's one of my downfalls, my many downfalls. In traffic, it's like I'm a different person because
me too.
People make such bad decisions, it seems like. Again, like this lady cutting in front of us, but today.
If people made good decisions or at least were courteous in the decisions that they made, we'd all get places a lot faster. That's the part that
courtesy.
That's the one thing people don't understand that. If you follow traffic laws, the laws aren't there. They are there to keep you safe, but they're also there to make things work well. Yeah, it's kind of like merging into traffic. When you're merging onto the freeway, when you're in traffic, you're supposed to go every other car, and you like a zipper. Like a zipper coming together. That's how it's supposed to work. But no, you've got people who are trying to jump in front of someone else, or they're sitting on the ass of someone in front of them, so you can't get in. It's like, guys, if you just gave us space, you wouldn't slow down.
I vote for new signs that say "merge like a zipper." I think would be.
I think it's a genius. And then throw on. Okay, I'm going to use an expletive here, folks. My new one, my new driving one. Yeah. My new driving thing, and this should be on the sign. Merge like a zipper, you fuck knuckle.
Wow. Nicely done. Well, he's not talking about me, he's talking about somebody else.
Yeah, that's exactly what people are thinking too.
Of course they would.
You're getting me all fired up.
Well, good. At least I'm not the only one. So did I mention the Harley's in service?
Yes, you did mention the Harley's in service. But speaking of that too, though, it always depends on the kind of car you're driving too. Have you noticed that? You drive the big trucks, people they do, but they not as often do stupid things because some people do realize that you can run over them, or they look at you and go, that guy's driving a truck, I'm sure he's armed. And I hate to say that. I will judge cars. If I see a certain type of car going by, I'm not messing with that person because I guarantee he's armed. And he probably has a little bit of road rage, and he might just pull something up.
Yeah,
I'm not going to fuck with it.
Traffic is a tough thing. You're right.
It is. Jen gets cut off in her car a lot more than I get cut off in mine.
Interesting.
Because I'm much bigger. Hers is smaller. I'm much bigger, and most people driving a Jeep, other people probably go, he's probably got something in there that can hurt me, like an axe.
Like an axe. Yeah. I travel with a sledgehammer.
I have one. Actually, I do have one in the Jeep right now.
You have a sledgehammer?
Well, we were going to do some work somewhere. I just haven't taken it out.
Oh, jeez. Well, mine is 15 feet away, so I can get at it if I need to.
There you go.
I don't.
Yeah.
I was just a lucky guess, ladies
There
and
are
gentlemen.
times I do have a hatchet in the back of the car too, because there's some camping gear that I just leave in the car because I have a hidden well like you probably have under your seat. Yep. You've got stuff, and it's just, why do I take it out? I'm not going to use it unless I'm taking the Jeep somewhere to go hiking or camping. So might as well just leave it in there.
I have a torch and a fire extinguisher because, if the torch gets something on fire, I have the fire extinguisher. So
Exactly. I do need to get a fire extinguisher for the car. I used to have one for my old Jeep.
I have it under the back seat in the truck, and it's just kind of nice to have. It's like fast.
It's a peace of mind.
It
Hopefully
really
you'll never have to use it.
Not for me, but it's, you come upon somebody on the road who's having trouble like that. You need to help. Anyway, that's a good thing. Real quick on the Harley, so I'm done with it because this is piling on. I told you I spent some money when I bought it just to try to make it fit me. I have not spent money on the Harley in 2 or 3 years, really. And a lot of people add stuff on, and mine is just maintenance. So I'm thinking time for an oil change. Called them, nice people. It's 1.5 miles away from my house. So it's close by and yada, yada. Went over, the guy's nicest kid ever. And he said, we can have it done for you, no problem. He said, as he's checking over the bike, like a smart guy, he said, oh, there's a nail in your rear tire. And I'm not even thinking about it. Come on. Because these are not old tires. They, when you only have 2 tires to worry about, you want them to be excellent.
Right.
You got 4, you can kind of go, okay, that one's a little dicey, but who cares? 2, and you're balancing, make them right.
That thing pops, you're screwed.
Exactly. And so I was fortunate that it wasn't low on air or anything. Anyway, I said, okay, how much for a new tire? And he hits me with a number. I'm fine. Okay, he says, well, I'll just let you know later. We'll probably have it done this. Okay, thanks, Johnny. Nice guy. And fine. He texted me the moment I got home, and he said, oh, I forgot to have you sign the RO. And that's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to leave you hanging. He said, and you're close to the 15,000 mile. Should we just do the 15,000 miles? Fine, do it. Texted me again, and he goes, the ratio of water and the brakes and your rear brakes okay, just give me the total number, Johnny. And he hits me with it. I'm going, damn it. You know what I could have added to the bike for all the work? I'm thinking it's an oil change. It's $100 oil change on a Harley usually. And okay, I'm fine. And then the nail and then the 15,000. I'm like, all right. But it's just the attitude at a Harley store, and this is where I will end it, I promise, that is so different than at a car dealership. It's people want to be there. It's generally disposable income. Not that I'm happy about disposing of it, but it's just a different different culture, it seems like, especially in the service department.
Yeah, and we talked about that when I had the Mercedes, going to the Mercedes store and getting the repairs. It's like, no, $1,500. Okay, here you go. I can't even do that when I'm at home. When it's something I can't even get the air conditioning at the house fixed because I'm too cheap to do it. But when I brought that, oh, sure, here you go.
Yes, and it's a 2-wheel thing for me. But you're right; it's not just that. It's a Mercedes. It's
anything where it's high end, because I would classify a Harley as a high end toy.
I don't want it to be. I want it to be really inexpensive.
But it is.
But it is.
If you wanted it to be a low end, you'd go buy a Honda.
I was looking at some, they're not low end either. Some of the new, especially the Gold Wings and so on.
Nothing is low end anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I was watching some of the live video at Sturgis, which is the motorcycle rally, probably the most famous one going on.
Which you'll hear Uncle Rhino's music at Sturgis. Oh, it's being awesome. It's being spotlighted. Yeah.
No kidding. Is he? So he's not. Is he there?
He's not playing. No.
Okay.
No, he's not there.
But they have some of
the music. That's
awesome.
Yep.
That is very cool. That's Ryan Reynolds, your friend.
Yep. Uncle Rhino.
Very cool. Well, I'm looking at some of these guys. They have live video, and of course, there are YouTubers who shoot all kinds of video there.
Yeah.
Some of these bikes, I mean, it's just incredible the money that's put in them. And I mean, I'm talking about 30 grand up to 150 or 200. Some of these are just incredible. And this is what they do. They ride on the Sturgis, which I have no desire. No offense if you're a Sturgis person. I have no desire to go there when there are, 200,000 bikers in the rain.
No, but have you've been to Sturgis before?
I've been there.
Right?
We've been there, and it's great. And the roads are terrific. Black Hills are beautiful for riding.
And jeeping.
Yeah, it's wonderful and jeeping. But yeah, it's not a place. Let's get that many of your best friends. We are doing a much smaller one in Wisconsin next month with the bike, and so that'll be fun. But it's
we've
not something
we've probably talked about this in the past, but my background, my first degree was actually in special event management, and I've always thought, and I've always felt this way about everything that I do. I don't like, we've talked about this a million times. We just talked about it today. I don't like people. I hate people. If it's too peoply, I don't want to be there. I really don't. But the one exception to that, I love going to music events. I love going to places like Sturgis when there are people there. When I'm working it, if someone's hired me to be there, and I've got access to certain things that no one else has, and I'm cordoned off, and I don't, or even if I had to be entertainment, I would not have no problem standing on stage talking to people. It's weird like that. I don't mind that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but I would hate
agree.
Being there, just being there.
That's an interesting.
And it could be a money spending thing too, because I don't like spending money on stuff like that either. But if someone's going to pay me to be there, oh hell yeah, it's a blast.
But it's an interesting differentiation because I don't dislike the events, but you're right. For me, it would be getting back on the bike in the driving rain, which it was doing the first couple of days, and then going to some muddy campsite. And I understand some people are. Oh, they've got the Class A RV that's $500,000, and they're towing their bikes. And, it's raining. Let's just call an Uber.
Right.
But for other people though, that's what they do, and that's their If
I
I'm
like
working the gig and I'm
more
underneath,
power to them.
and I'm underneath a protected area or whatever, and I can have fun at that stuff. It's just
hell yeah.
You see people having a 12-pack of beer and then trying to balance a bike to go 5 miles to their campground.
I remember the year it was going from it had to be going from the year 2000 to the year 2001. I actually got to do an event in Times Square for the company I was working for.
Wow.
I was actually just an intern at that point. So it was a live event, and it was in one of the studios on Times Square or in Times Square. And it was great because, one, I didn't have to pay to be there. Two, I'm looking at, it was right after a blizzard, and I'm looking at all these people who had been standing outside since 8 a.m. out in the middle of the street, freezing their asses off, probably half drunk, no bathrooms in sight. And I'm sitting there in a tuxedo and just in this nice warm studio. It was fantastic. I actually got to be there. I got to experience it. And I didn't have to worry about any of the other crap. It was a fantastic experience. I would do that 100 times, but would I ever go there just to celebrate New Year's in New York? Yeah. Oh, hell no. You couldn't.
Not a chance.
No.
No.
I would stop short of saying you have to pay me to be there, because that was the whole point of it. If you're paying me to be there, I'll be there. But
fine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good point. And it is it's a different perspective based on what you have. And you and I in the past have often been places where we're there for work or conferences or whatever. I did a tour with GM for a while, 22 cities we did. And we were we were everywhere across the country. And it was actually kind of cool. And to say nothing about, the hotel points and airline miles I racked up. But it was a kind of a cool experience. But to actually go to those things as a participant and sit there and watch for 8 hours while somebody Nah, not as likely.
No, and then have to fight the crowds.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Or park. You know what's worse is leaving.
Parking.
That's the parking is okay because you're getting there and you get to go. It's leaving. It's sitting in line after you've spent the whole day doing whatever or the whole weekend doing whatever.
True.
And then you have to sit there for an hour while you're going
it's
60
like
feet.
It's like going to a concert. And then I know. And if you don't, we've been to Jimmy Buffett. I think Lisa went once and I've been twice. And if you've ever been, and I know you and I have discussed this, but it's a whole different atmosphere. We got there 8 hours before the concert the last time. And you just see the funny, but dumbest stuff. Obviously, there's all kinds of alcohol flowing, which is not necessarily a good thing. But, we saw guys coming in with a pickup truck bed with a bladder full of water, which they filled a big kiddie pool with and put goldfish in. And okay, so you see stuff like that and you go, this is stupid. But we didn't even go to the concert when Lisa and I were there. They're all going into the concert. Yeah, you know what? I'm done. It's 10 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night. And people are, where are you going? We're going to get ice. We'll be back. I've heard Jimmy Buffett 20 times. So the guy's hammered and he thinks we're going to get ice and he's probably still waiting. But yeah, I'm with you.
So
just having to leave is crazy.
That same company that I work for, I was the intern for that, but I actually got a job with them after my internship was up. So they hired me and I was a talent booker. And I would book talent for I call it sideshows, but it wasn't a circus. It was at amphitheaters.
You worked for the circus?
I did. Well, it kind of, it's so I think it's long enough now where it's not, I don't think I'm going to be breaking any rules, but it was, so this company was at the time Clear Channel, and Clear Channel has now been taken over by iHeart. So it's iHeartRadio, but it was, but Clear Channel owned all of the amphitheaters all over the country. So all the major shows were at Cool Channel amphitheaters. Well, there are a number of vendors that are set up at the amphitheater that all go through Clear Channel. So they have talent bookers or certain bookers, depending on what that vendor is for each one of these tents. My client happened to be Camel, RJR. So it was, they were selling Camel cigarettes, or they were promoting Camel cigarettes.
You were up to 3 packs a day by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't. That's the irony. I didn't smoke, and but I was working on this account. I had one person that was working for me in there, and we would book talent. So they would be magicians or tarot readers or psychics or belly dancers. So that's the type of group, and we would do it for all of the concerts around the country. But we also gave us free access to any amphitheater we wanted to go to.
Wow.
I was in St. Louis, so I obviously went to the St. Louis one a lot, but I also went over to Kansas City and did one there. And, it was really cool because that's the thing. You get VIP parking.
Yeah.
You get a free access, all access pass. So I had backstage, I front row. I was in the cool
So you
section.
You actually could go and talk to all the belly dancers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I could go see the concerts. I mean, I went to see Bare Naked Ladies. I'm using it. Yeah, it was a great concert. Who else? I saw a bunch of them. I got to see Journey. That was a fabulous show. I didn't even know who Journey was back then. I was so young, but it was a fabulous show. And a number of other artists that I can't even think of off the top of my head, but it was fantastic. But it was that because I was working those shows. I had to go schmooze, but then I could go sit in my VIP section with VIP parking. I didn't have to worry about leaving. It was fantastic.
Especially when you're a kid. When you're young, that's the hot tip.
I was 21 years old. So it was like
it does not
21,
get any
22.
better than that.
Exactly. I guess what? Does everyone now understand why I'm so bougie? I mean, if you're if that was given to you when you're 21, 22 years old.
I think we've always known.
Well, we should, but now you understand more. Why?
No. Yeah, no, there's no why. Everyone just assumes that Nick, well, bougie
that
Nick.
bougie? Yeah, bougie Nick. That is my new nickname.
I know this.
He's
Your
that
new
bougie guy.
Nicholas name.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
But we beat that one. So what else is going on in your life? Oh, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, he's texting me right now. Let's see what he has to say.
Let's see what Ryan has to say. This is live, interactive. Let's see if he's texting me. No, he's not.
No, he hasn't. He's
crushed.
listening to Twerking with a Twang right now.
Nice.
I don't know. He randomly sends me pictures, but then doesn't explain why he's sending me the picture. So it's a screenshot of Twerking with a Twang right now on Spotify has 106,963 plays.
Wow.
So that's
excellent.
Good. Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, good for him.
You should go listen to Twerking with a Twang because I know it's right up your alley.
I'm having a hard time getting over the initialization of that, but
the Twerking with that's actually co-written with Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My buddy Scott grew up with Billy Ray Cyrus.
Really?
Was in Russell, Kentucky. Was
yes.
In a band with him when they first started. They played guitar together, and
nice.
I don't want to tell too much, but he, and I don't know, how connected they ever remained or whatever, but he was buds with him, and
I'm sure they do, because you'd be surprised at how tight the community is. I mean, Ryan, he took a good 15, 20 years off, and he still talks to all of his old buddies.
Awesome.
Some of them are fairly large names. I mean, that's how he's been able to do this again. You just kind of come back and say, I want to do it again. And it's all of his buddies lining up going, we'll give you a hand.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the car business. The car business is actually one of the largest businesses. And we're talking about third parties and vendors and things like that.
Yep.
Cumulative. Huge. In the United States, it is the largest business.
Yeah, it's responsible
sector.
for over 20, I think last I heard it was like 22% of the GDP. So,
yeah, I mean, it's massive. Yeah, it's massive.
Call it what you want, but yeah, you're right. It impacts a lot.
It's amazing. Everyone knows each other. It's like the smallest big industry.
There's some of that.
Oh, I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy. Oh, yeah, I work with him. We got a lot of people. I mean, even my main boss, one of my main bosses on our team, he used to work for GM at one point. And so there are people that have come to our OEM. They've gone to different companies, and they all still talk. It's crazy. You do the same. I mean, even our friend Bill knows Dennis. It's kind of like everyone knows everyone. It's crazy.
It's true. It is true. And that makes it good. It makes it a challenge sometimes too, especially because not all of the relationships are good.
Oh, no, they're not. No.
Sometimes there's some of this that goes on.
Yeah. So even me, who I would say people think that I get along with a lot of people, I have my enemies.
What?
They don't like me. I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
I won't mention any of them here because
you and I are fine together.
We're fine, at least on camera.
At least on camera, yes. And on that note, you bastard!
I dropped my pencil. No, you're my favorite fuck knuckle.
Oh, thank you. That sounds like something they'd say in Canada. No, it's moose knuckle.
Yeah,
it's a moose knuckle.
Yeah, let's not go down that. Yeah. Anywho, on that note, John, I think it's time. I think it's time that we say, folks, head up to PoddiMouths.com to learn more about PoddiMouths and to visit all of the places that you can listen and or watch PoddiMouths. You can also buy merchandise up there. We would love it for you to buy merchandise or buy us a coffee. Whatever fits your budget.
Merchandise.
And send your friends, whether you like them or you hate them, send them there. Because either, as we've said in the past, they're either going to love our podcast or that's going to make their ears bleed. So, you choose. Make sure that, either way, we're getting listeners. So I'm pretty happy with that.
The bleeding ear listeners, yeah.
Hey, whatever works. As long as that number goes up and, John and I can retire from our day jobs, it'll be fantastic.
Wait. I'm feeling a new T-shirt coming on.
Bleeding ears?
Listen to PoddiMouths, and it's some dude with a bleeding ear. That
genius.
We're on to something.
See, this is why you're my favorite fuck knuckle.
PoddiMouths. Your ears will bleed. I'm feeling
Your ears
it right
will
now.
bleed. That's our new tagline. That's next year's tagline. Listen to Potty Mouths. Your ears will bleed.
Your ears will bleed. Oh, winner.
Winner. All right, folks. Have a great week. We will see you again next week.
See ya.